present to you a different way to look at ocean health, through the lens of climate change, but particularly to look at ocean health through the lens of the impact of ocean health on vulnerable communities, and particularly of climate change. So if we look globally from an overall perspective, and to the answer to the question, why are Caribbean communities vulnerable, then on the outer layer of this circle, you see that we are focusing on planetary health, all that of living, and all that is providing us the opportunity to live within our planet. And I'll come back to the definition much closer. Then right below that and encompassing that is climate change. There is no higher threat to our health than the impact of climate on our health. And so here's the definition of planetary health: not only the health of our human civilization, but all the systems, the natural systems on which we depend, whether it's the food system or the transportation system, all the components of systems that we depend on. We know that the health of people is inextricably linked to the health of the people around us. So our civilization really not only depends on our health, but on the flourishing of natural systems. So here are some examples from the Lancet of how we damage the planet and how in turn that the damage impacts human health. The loss of biodiversity is a very pressing issue because by doing so, for example, we have fewer and fewer fish species as a source of protein for us collectively, and particularly in Suriname and Guyana. So what is it about climate change that we're so worried about, and particularly regional climate change? It's here and it's now. Whether we see rising temperatures or we see sea level rise, we know that what the impact will be is on human health. So now, what about ocean health and how does climate change relates? We talked about sea level rise. Then there is the rise of the temperature of the sea surface. There is definitely both in Guyana and in Suriname saltwater intrusion and changes in salinity, and some of the greenhouse gases and contribute, or a portion of the greenhouse gases and the increase in those gases contribute to ocean acidification. All of that together impacts where we live. I encourage you to think about each of these four inner circle dynamics: extreme weather, sea level rise, increasing carbon dioxide, and rising temperatures, and then go to take that ray of effects outward. And so, for example, we could look at more extreme weather gives us changes in vector ecology and where the mosquitoes live for the most part, and then the impact on all the vector-borne diseases. And so it doesn't matter which ray you take, which slice of the pie you take outward, it impacts our health. Here are some threats that both countries face with relation to ocean health. We talked about deforestation, but particularly the loss of mangroves. I've seen that every year that I visited Biggie Pond in Nikeri, where it is not only visible, but you see the damage also be visible. The threats to our agricultural industry because of the use of pesticides. We talked about mining, the use of mercury and cyanide. And then to be coming, I know that both countries are very positive and optimistic, and so am I, for the development of the oil, and oil being available as an extractive industry. I think if both countries do it well with the correct policies, we can protect people and the environment, and then everybody wins. I bring you back to where we started, because now I'm hoping that it makes a lot of sense, or at least more sense, to why I'm saying that each of these circles, from planetary health to climate change to environmental health to disparities, all of those encompassing ocean health, is a burden on our communities. I would say 99.9% of this is what we do ourselves. When we contaminate the oceans and we contaminate the rivers and we contaminate the soil and the water that ultimately we drink and the babies that we grow in us, the women, we're doing it to ourselves. We have got to stop doing this. We have difficult decisions ahead, but I have every confidence that we can do it. I'd like to end and leave some time for questions.